Welcome inside the coach's office as we get set for another season of Rutgers basketball. We are, just as we record this, a couple of weeks away from the season opener and joined by the man himself, Steve Pikiell, who is entering year number 10 as Scarlet Knights head coach. How are you? How does that sound?
Wow, yeah. How quick time has flown by too, by the way, but love being here. Excited about this year. New obstacles, a lot of new faces. Teams in the league. I was at media day, a lot of new coaches, a lot of new players too. Even at media day, it's sometimes in the past you'd see the same guy for a few years, you know, Cassius Winston and those kind of guys. Now every coach has 2 or 3 new guys that I'm like, who is that again? Which guy is at Iowa? Which guy is at Minnesota? So, very different times, but exciting, and our guys are working hard while no one's watching. And I kind of like the theme of the year.
And that's a great place to start. You talk about the changes around the league, really around the country, in almost every program now. How would you characterize this group now that you've had them, on the court, working behind the scenes before they get in front of fans?
It's extremely competitive group. And willing workers, and we've been doing a really good job. They've worked, they're physical, we're big physically. But they've really done a good job. Every day they compete. We got a lot of different kind of pieces too. We got a couple international guys. We got a couple big time athletes. Our 4 returning players have gotten better. Emmanuel's been awesome in the preseason. J. Mike has improved, as you can imagine, because those 2 kids are workers. And then Dylan Grant and Bryce have improved. So those guys came back with a little more chip, and I think we brought some kids in that play with some fire and have a little bit of proof to people some things. So, excited where we are right now. Haven't played a game yet and have probably the toughest stretch in the history of Rutgers basketball with some of the games that we're playing between Vegas and our first 2 opponents in league play and then, going into the Seton Hall away game. So, we got a lot of work to do, but excited.
Yeah, and those 2 games in between that stretch in Vegas and Seton Hall, you're talking Purdue and at Michigan, certainly not easy, no doubt. You mentioned the 4 returning guys, J. Mike, Emmanuel, Bryce, and Dylan. How much have they helped all the new faces get acclimated to this program and you?
They're probably the 4 guys, they're everyday guys. They don't miss practice. They work hard every day. They've really built themselves so when I can count on them. Physically, they've gained weight and gotten stronger. And they just give a calming influence, too, over the younger guys. And they're really good students, too, which I know no one ever factors that in. But that's part of the deal here. You got to go to class and you got to do some, things academically and on the basketball court. So those 4 guys have been really good. And they're going to be anchors to the season to go along with some talented newcomers and some talented, transfer portal additions.
No doubt. Now, last year we talked about a freshman class, and it really was a lot about Dylan and Ace. So they've moved on to the NBA. You've got a new freshman class now. If you want to take it one by one, how would you describe this group?
High energy, athletic would be the first 2 words that come to mind. But they all bring a unique skill set. Chris Newley is the most vocal and a tremendous athlete. We haven't had an athlete like him in a long time. He has a little Caleb McConnell on him on the defensive end. He can play 1 through 5, and he doesn't mind guarding people. Lino Mark is fast. We haven't had a guy since Jacob Young was the last guy that could get up and down the court like him and jump like him, in the program. Caden Powers is a jump shooter, big time with offensive potential that I'm excited about. Awesome kid. I think has a chance too to be a special guy down the road. Javante Ware is strong, very physical, and can really score around the basket. So I think people are going to be really pleasantly surprised. He's been an everyday guy, that I'm excited about. And then, when you start sprinkling in some of the other guys, with Haroon being a little bit older than most freshmen, played professionally. I think really a guy that can do a lot of things and is more mature than most freshmen. can shoot the ball, can handle it, 6'6". And then Dennis, I like to mix Dennis in there too. Dennis is good, and he's got a chance to be really good. His efficiency through the preseason has been off the charts. He can really shoot the basketball. Again, played professional basketball for a while over in Italy. And then Dorian Jones is really athletic, just really athletic and really learning what college basketball is all about.
You mentioned in the beginning there the physicality and some guys really big and strong. With the way you want to play, and I think it sounds like we're trying to get back to what you believe in terms of defense, how important is it that you've got a good handful of guys that play that way and that you're trying to develop this team to play that style?
I mean, they've embraced it, first of all. I think the most important thing about this team, though, is we have two guys that want to guard the best player every day. And Darren Buchanan Jr. and Chris, really have taken that on. And they can guard multiple positions. We just didn't have that guy last year that I could put on the best player on the other team and shut him down. I think we got more opportunities to do that. Bryce, Dylan Grant, we just got versatile, good length, and guys that could sit down and guard people. And this group, we've spent a ton of time. It's about rebounding. You're not going to play if you don't rebound. And we're going to get back to that because I think that's what we've missed the last 2 years more than anything is that rebounding aspect where we would be plus 10 and plus 11 and plus 12. In the last 2 years, we haven't done a good job in that area, and that's hurt our offense and it's hurt our defense.
Right, and it's, a lot of people talk about rebounding and they almost brush it off. They think it's always about the three-point shot. But if you can rebound the ball on the offensive end, you get more opportunities. And if you can limit teams on the other end, they don't get additional opportunities. How much, I imagine at this point, the kids know. I heard you at the Meet the Team night. This seems like it's defense and rebounding is it for you, and it starts there.
I mean, this group knows to rebound, because those guys are going to play. And I mean, we had a couple, scrimmages. I mean, we had 4 guys with double-figure rebounds. They kind of understand how important that is. And like you said, it's important on both ends of the floor, but it also gets teams in foul trouble. So sometimes it takes their best player off the floor. And also, you get to the free throw line more when you rebound the ball better. So, it takes you out of playing transition defense. So those are 2 huge areas for us. But By Fall is another guy that we got, and Darren Buchanan can rebound. And then we have added Tariq Francis, who's a veteran, create his own, a really good defender. I've been pleasantly excited about him. He leads us in steals on that end of the floor. He kind of is an anticipator. He's physically built and, can really shoot the ball too. But he gives us some defense too that, I didn't always see on the films last year with him.
How much did you miss? And if you look back to last year, you mentioned Bai, who's going to be a big shot blocker for you when he's on the floor. How much do you think you missed the shot blocking ability that you had prior to last season and how that can change your game too?
Yeah, I mean, it really, changes a lot of things. First of all, usually you're blocking shots and you're getting good rewards down the other end of the floor, but it's another way to intimidate. It's another way to, take away strengths that teams have. Whenever you can patrol the lane and take away easy shots from people, it's huge. Bai goes and gets them. That's what I like about him. Some guys let the shots come to them. If I'm a shot blocker, it comes to me, I block it. This guy goes and finds shots. So I like that. Though, has done a fantastic job. He's healthy. First time he's been healthy really in 2 years. And he's blocking shots. And then, Bryce Dortch can block shots. And Chris Newley is a shot blocker. We just added Javante is huge. He's 270 and he's a shot blocker. So we've just added some pieces. We should be much improved in that area at the rim. And again, it's just a big part of helping us, win more and helping us, kind of get back to, being a rebounding and defensive group.
You had the Meet the Team night, and a lot of most of the kids, aside from a couple that were in class, attended. Great kids. And you could tell walking around, just the feeling around the team is pretty darn good, and watching them kind of communicate with everybody. You gave away the Joe Boylan Award to the 1976 team, which really special. How did you come to making that decision, and how special was it that most of them that could attend did attend?
I mean, first, it was just a great night. It's become like one of those events, and then we honor Joe Boylan, who was one of our dear friends and one of the greatest guys ever, and he'd be amazed at what that night has become in his name. But what better team that represents what Joe Boylan represented, which was Rutgers, a love for Rutgers, a love for people, helping people with obstacles. Like I look at that 76 team and they help each other. To this day, it's 50 years later, they help each other. They help their kids and their kids' kids. And, you know, they all came back to celebrate together. And the stories and all those things were awesome. But I know Coach, you know, Boylan was sitting up there in heaven where I know he is, and he was sipping an ice cold one, and he was watching, and he couldn't be more proud that that team, who represent all the good things about Rutgers and Rutgers basketball and Rutgers athletics, was back and talking and honoring him that night. So just a great night, the most people we ever had at the event. Our kids showed other talents too that they have, which I love. People get to see them in a different light, and you get to see the power of Rutgers Nation really on that evening, and it was fun.
It was really cool too. It was Dennis and Haroon were at my table, and I saw Javante. I think it was Javante. I saw a couple of the other kids. When you rolled the video of that highlight reel of 1976, there was a feeling of, wow, like it can happen here. Look how cool this was. Just really neat seeing 18 to 22-year-olds looking up to those guys that did it long before. And I know it's something that's, you know, it's right there in your mind. Let's go do it, you know?
And, you know, you talk about those things, and they're an example of it. And to this day, that team continues to be special and doing great things for Rutgers. And hopefully a team like this can break through and do something like that and be remembered 50 years later as kind of an amazing tribute.
Really awesome. So November 5th, Rider. As you get now closer to opening night, everything becomes more real. They're not scrimmages anymore. It's not just, it's got to be important for these guys to see other kids as opposed to killing each other every day. What changes in terms of your preparation as it's now going to be for real in 2 weeks?
Yeah, we just start moving into that game mode, like we're preparing for Rider specifically. And, you know, we always play one game at a time, but we will start being real focused soon on that. Probably shortening practice, watching more film, but just trying to establish the things that are important to our program and try to help the guys fight through the obstacles. And the first obstacle is you got to pick a starting five. So just so you understand that, you know, coaching's so difficult. You can't start, you know, 6, 7, 8. They all want to start. So you got to start preparing them for that. That's the first obstacle they're going to face. And then their family's going to have to face that too. And then the media is going to say, you know, and so, okay, if you're the sixth man, that doesn't mean you're the sixth man for the rest of the season. Get your mind right to help us as the sixth man, the seventh man, the eighth man, the ninth man. Be ready, you know, for all the different obstacles that you're going to face. And you face it right off the bat in Rider Game 1. Try to prepare all the guys for the things that they're going to face, you know, leading up to this and the hard season that's in front of them, and embrace the hard.
Yeah, and I obviously don't know like you do, but it appears to me it's one of your deeper teams. Like it seems like you can go 9, 10, 11 deep with this club.
100%, and we will. We will. I want to play hard. I want to play at a high level. There hasn't been that kind of separation between, you know, some of our guys at some of the positions. So play as hard as you can for the minutes you get, and the next guy's ready to roll. And if they accept those roles and they embrace them, it's going to be pretty fun, and everyone's going to be a part of it.
And looking forward to it. Coach, we appreciate it. We will do it every couple of weeks. November 5th, Rutgers, Rider, Jersey Mike's Arena. We will see you then.
Thanks so much.